Damn, that was fast swing yet.
Damn.
I'm working on it. You know what I'm saying?
That just sounds like a record skip, you know?
Yeah.
Hey man, play it back at 0.5 and you know let me know. Let me know
People
what you
listening
think.
to this faster than that, it's just going to be...
Dude, I can't wait for the 1.7 listeners to be like, yeah.
They just, you don't hear it at all.
It's
Yeah,
gone.
you missed it.
It
Well,
fades
that's what you
into the
miss when you-
fabric of time.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, the hardest part of this whole thing is trying to figure out, like, what to do for the actual content, which is the banter topic, right?
Obviously.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. So I have an idea. I'm curious, guys. What is what's like the worst job that you've ever had, or that you hated the most, or alternatively, what's the dumbest thing you've ever been fired for? If you've ever been fired from a job, let's talk about our employment histories a little bit. Give me your resume.
I've only ever been fired for truancy, for like not showing up or being late.
I've never been fired from a job.
Never
I
been
think I would
fired.
have a come apart if I were fired.
I've worked in restaurants for far too long to not have been fired.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe not what you got fired for. What's the worst job you ever had? What
I got fired for was just being a shitty server.
Well,
Like
do
waiting
better.
tables, I was just bad at it.
You were just not good.
I was
huh?
just not good.
I've had to fire somebody at a restaurant before. I've had
Yeah,
to
I've had
fire
to fire a
multiple
lot of people.
people.
That sucks.
Yeah. Didn't care for that.
Dishwasher and squally at a mechanics bay. So I had to do
You
both
said a
of those.
squally?
Yeah.
You said that like that's like a word that we should know.
It's a back pocket word. Do y'all not have that?
Oh, Josh, you know that word?
You don't tip
it's
your
just-
squally?
They cleaned the mechanic bays.
Okay.
I used to
okay.
work at this place called Fast Eddie's in Ocean Springs.
Were they fast?
No, but they're Eddie.
Well, they were Eddie.
They weren't
Eddie.
fast, nor was
They're
Eddie
Eddie.
ever there, I'd imagine.
He got fired for truancy.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't even know if they're still there or not.
All right.
To
Well,
this day, some people say if you listen, you can still hear Fast Eddie.
zooming around with the squallies,
Yeah, that's right.
So the worst job I've ever had was seasonal work at a Toys R Us.
Woof.
That was atrocious. That was atrociously
Yeah.
miserable.
That sounds bad.
The stupidest thing I've ever been fired for was when I worked at this restaurant, O'Charlie's. I think O'Charlie's is a national chain, right?
It's
Not-
a chain,
It's a
yeah.
chain. I don't know.
yeah. You may be familiar with O'Charlie's out there in the world. I'm not sure. Casual dining, chain restaurant. I'd only been working there for about a month, maybe 2 months. And I did a closing shift on a Saturday night, and then I had to turn around and work a Sunday morning brunch shift. And if anybody's ever done that shit sucks ass.
Yeah, cloaking
That's-
is awful.
Yeah.
Nope.
The keg.
Yeah.
Like,
So
every time.
the point is, if you do that shift, you're not like at your best that Sunday morning, And I certainly was not at my best. But what I did, the first table I got was a big top. And so and this is early in the morning, like 10 in the morning. And early for a server, excuse me.
I was just thinking that like early.
I've already been at work hours by this point now, But I grabbed straight from the dish rack, because this was like one of the first tables that came in. Like, most restaurants have like clean dishes in an area or something like that. I grabbed a stack of what we call side plates. These are little small appetizer plates. And I took them to the table along with the little O'Charlie's rolls that they have.
Yum, yum, yum.
And I was getting some soups or some drinks ready or something, and my manager came down the line screaming, "Who has this table?" And I was like, it's me. And she's like, "What the fuck?" And apparently, in that stack of side plates, there was a plate that had not been washed the night before, and it had a salsa-soaked napkin somewhere in that stack. I was fired on the spot.
What?
For bringing out a and this is a stack. It's a big top. I just grabbed the stack.
Yeah, you just grab like a stack of 10
and
plates or
just
whatever.
brought it.
Yeah.
I was fired on the spot, and I'm pretty sure that I went over to Heath's apartment after that, because Heath lived not too far from O'Charlie's, and Heath's girlfriend at the time was like, "Wait, why don't you just apply at Applebee's?" Because she worked at Applebee's, and I applied that day and got hired that day.
Yeah.
The day that I was
And then I got hired at Applebee's.
Yeah, and we all worked
then
at
my
Applebee's.
sister got hired at Applebee's.
I've only been fired once, and it was at my first like real kitchen job. And like, okay, so Weldy is me, right? And I was in my
different show. They don't have the context.
Yeah, okay, but I was in my Weldy era.
Yeah.
And I was oblivious to everything around me. I was working at this restaurant trying to like
Covered in patchwork corduroy.
trying to figure it out. And one day I was just going in there, and the manager's like, "Hey, I need you to walk with me across the street to the office," because the office was across the street for whatever reason.
Okay.
This is at Walnut Circle.
Downtown, they had to work with whatever space they had.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're walking across the street, and then they sit me down in this conference room. And they're like, "All right, we know what you did. Tell us where the money is." And I said, "What? What are you talking about? What's going on?"
what,
I thought I was
dude?
coming
Bro,
over. I thought
what
I
do
was coming over here to help you move some boxes, man. Like for real. This is how this went.
Yeah.
And they're like, "We've got you on video." I was like, "Cool, show it," because I didn't take any money, so I was like, "Whatever you have on video."
It ain't me, man.
Yeah, let's look at it. So, like, it was me and this other guy that worked the morning shift, and we were the two preppers. And the other guy, clearly, on video, is stealing the money. Like, this was a very tall dude with dreads, very distinct looking from me, right? There was, I was, hunched over.
You were still growing your dreads out.
Yeah, right. It's just anyways, I was like, "Oh, okay, well, there's the guy that has the money." And they're like, "You were looking out for him." I was like, "Well, let's look at the other cameras where on the kitchen where I'm working." And sure enough, I'm sitting there very slowly dicing up carrots or cucumbers or some shit, this was literally my, maybe
first,
2 months into my first kitchen job.
Yeah, you're not very fast with the knife that early
No,
on.
I had no training, so I'm just teaching myself, and I'm like, okay,
Bend the knuckles.
So what? I'm so confused of why you think I have anything to do with this. You have the guy on camera taking it from the safe. I just saw that with all of you in the room watching the same thing, and then you saw me not doing that at the same time, and I was like, I didn't see him go into the office. That might be my bad, I guess, but I'm an oblivious idiot. You know what I mean? But I certainly wasn't standing guard for him. And I liked the dude. I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, damn, man." And that's, I guess, why they thought I had something to do with it. Cause I'd given the guy a ride home a couple times.
Right.
So they thought we were
you guys
cahoots.
are in cahoots.
The twice that I gave him a ride to his apartment, we planned out the great heist.
the
Grand heist of the pen cash at Walnut Circle's safe, it was like $200, and they're like, let me see your wallet. And they looked at all the bills in my wallet to try to match up serial numbers on this shit, dude. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
And the one song that I've ever sang in my entire life as a musician was a song that I wrote called Mr. Mac. And it was about the owner. And it was I was mad enough to break my crippling stage fright and terrible singing to ever sing.
Yeah.
To sing that song because I was like,
you were
"Fuck
just so
you."
passionate about it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's my firing story.
Wow.
Very
I
nice.
just remembered the one time I did get fired for something other than truancy.
Truancy.
And I was 17 and I had taken a mall job, some clothing store in the mall, and I was a stock person in the back and had been working there 3-4 shifts. I'm brand new.
Yeah.
and it was New Year's, and they were open on New Year's like assholes. And I was at a buddy's house, and I had to work a late shift because they were doing, like, I guess post-holiday, like they
Sales and stuff.
The stock people were there later getting stuff prepped for the extra day. So I had to go in at like 5 or 6 at night. And because it was New Year's, I was hanging out at my buddy's house. And I was like, I'll just take a shot. I'll just take one for New Year's. And I ended up getting real drunk and driving to work and still showed up. Like, walked in. And they, when I walked up, I was like, all right, I'm just going to, hey, hope I get through this, fake it till I make it. And they were like, hey, so this girl called out, so we're going to train you on the floor today.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, no, we're not.
Don't do that.
I'll just tell you right now, I'm drunk, so. They're like, all right, well, I'll just tell you right now, you're fired. And it's like, yeah, I figured.
Fair. We're all just being honest.
It was like the most chill firing ever. It was just, they were just kind of like dumbfounded, like, why'd you come? You know, I was like, had to be at work, you know?
It was like a mutual breakup. It's like, this isn't working anymore, is it?
Yeah,
No,
it's like, and it was also like, I don't want to work here anyways.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
I
Was
just
it like
needed.
Aeropostale or something? Like what?
No.
Oh, God.
No.
It was the
Forever
buckle.
21.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, dude.
Yeah. I was a dumb teenager and like I didn't want that job. I think I got pressured by my grandma to get a job. Just
G-Unit.
borrowing money
Yeah,
from
man.
her.
Yeah, she's probably tired of you dipping into that pocketbook, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Just imagine she's got a pocketbook. Huh?
Totally.
Several designer handbags. Well, whatever the old lady designer is, though.
Who's the old lady design?
I don't know.
Vera Bradley.
There you go.
There you go. That's
Something
it.
like that.
That's it.
No, but so the most scarring job that I ever got fired from, which I actually like doing the work, I worked at Krispy Kreme for
I remember that.
about 8 months.
Hell
I
yeah, dude.
I had a good run.
I had a lot of free donuts during that era.
Yeah, I still don't
think
like donuts.
You think 8 months is a good run?
For that
To
young
work
in
at
my
Krispy
life.
Kreme?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time. It wasn't like 2 years ago, you know?
Like, for a teenager? Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, I was like 20, you know?
oh, you're teenage plus.
Right. I mean, I was a teenager till I was 30, so. But no, like I was a production person. I made the donuts. Like I made the dough and you know, operated all the machines. And I actually liked that. It's very like cyclical. You have to switch to a different machine every like 7 minutes or whatever. And you got 3 different machines you go to and you just stay on a schedule. And I was actually pretty good at it, but it alternated where it's like Monday I had to come in at 4 a.m. Tuesday I had to come in at 6 a.m. and it's back and forth and back and forth. And I'm not a morning person anyways. And I just ended up being late a whole lot and getting fired, which is fine. I didn't want to be there forever anyways, because I hate the smell of yeast. Like I just fucking hate it.
Like fucking donuts for 8 months.
I hated it, and I still like don't like donuts because the yeasty smell like it has scarred my brain.
To this day, some people say if you smell Heath strong enough, you can still smell the yeast.
I got rid of those
Pouring out of
clothes
him.
long ago.
Oh, it's in your blood now.
No, it's not. I didn't even eat that many donuts.
Y'all have like good food industry and like server stuff, kind of like all of my like food service and, you know, working for various clothing retailers. That was fine. I mean, it was just a job.
So you never had a job that sucked.
I did. It was actually the second job I ever had. The first one was I worked at Blockbuster. Yes, that's how old I am.
That's like the best job.
Hey, I worked
It
on
was
Hollywood
okay.
Video, so
It was okay. I only
we
worked there
can't
for
be
like
friends
6 months
anymore.
Well, weirdly enough, I rented more movies from Hollywood Video than I did from Blockbuster.
Okay,
So
we're cool then.
Oh,
it
well,
was
that's
weird.
why you didn't keep working there. No brand loyalty.
We got you on
No.
camera, Emily, shopping at the competitor.
No, they wouldn't work around my softball schedule, so I had to quit. But the worst job that I ever had was just like physically intensive. I did a summer job for the Youth Conservation Corps, which is a U.S. National Forestry Service. And so I worked for the Delta National Forest for about 8 weeks when I was 17.
Forest.
Yes, it's forest. Okay, thanks. Get off my dick, Adam. I said it right.
No, you said it. You said it Mississippi correct for sure.
Okay, thanks. But like, we were out working in the swamps. Like, we were putting up like duck box houses and like repainting shit out in the middle of nowhere. Like, we saw bears. There was one girl like on our crew. It was like week 3, I think, and we were out in like the middle of nowhere in the forest. And we were just sitting on some logs. We were having our lunch because that's what you do. We had like a 6-person crew, and it was all other teenagers. And we had like one supervisor with us who was like 25.
Barely counts.
Barely counts. And like,
Still
we
a teenager.
yeah, teenager plus. And at one point I looked down and like I saw a little movement underneath, like we were sitting, there were like logs down next to each other sort of. And so I looked across and there was movement underneath like the feet of like the other 3 people. And I realized it was a snake, and I was like, hey, I can't tell what it is. Why don't y'all flop off the back? Because it was down flush. Like if they got up and walked away, it would have probably, yeah. So just fall backwards. You're good. But the only other girl in our crew, like she didn't understand what I was saying. And eventually like one of the guys that was sitting next to her just kind of like grabbed her on the shoulder and pushed her back. And like when she got up, she was screaming. She was real mad. And I was like, just look. And she peeked. And about that time, like a 4.5-foot rattlesnake just diddly out from under the log. She did not come back. She was done. She was out.
I might have been.
I got pushed, and there was a rattlesnake.
There was a rattlesnake. I saw so many fucking like cottonmouths and like just animals that you don't really ever want to be that close to.
Well,
and it was
because you're out in the what they call the woods.
The woods, in fact, deep woods, as it were. And I have never been so fucking hot. Like the amount of humidity that was that
out
place.
In the woods.
Yeah.
In the summertime, I imagine.
In the summer, yes, this was.
In
this
Mississippi.
Was like, yeah.
I mean, that's a recipe for.
You know, the first
disaster.
line to the Rattlesnake song by Chance Fisher is "Out in the Woods."
That's a good
That's
song.
where you find them.
Yeah,
That's accurate.
it is.
We had
The first line of Rattlesnake by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is Rattlesnake.
Sure
And
is.
it's also the only line in that song.
Rattlesnake.
And it's done about 150 times.
That
good
doesn't
song.
surprise me. In the you say, oh, there's a King Gizzard song called Rattlesnake, and they say rattlesnake 100 times. That tracks. That perfectly tracks with what I know of.
Okay. Now somebody else tell about some redneck shit.
Josh, you've been kind of quiet over there, man. You don't have any
Yeah,
horror stories from
nothing.
your
I don't
employment
really-
history?
Not really. I mean, I've got stuff that, in the military that I've done, like washing airplanes sucks. It's a dirty job. It's tiring.
Yeah.
And I think there's at least one person that I work with. Shout out to John if he's listening to LLF as well.
John's
that
right
knows
there.
that pain. Different John. But yeah, like that sucked a lot. I'm glad to not be doing that anymore. As far as like jobs that I didn't, most frustrating job I think was working at Gap. Because the
Can't
way that
imagine.
they displayed clothing, and I guess still do, was just in piles, like piles of t-shirts, right? They're folded, but they're just stacked. So you would start at the front of the store and basically make a lap. By the time you made a lap around the store, fixing shirts that people would just seemingly grab, they needed a large, they grabbed from near the bottom of the pile and just pulled. Didn't set aside the stack and keep it neat. Just fuck that pile, right? So doing that, making that lap and organizing everything, by the time that I got back to the place that I started, it looked like I hadn't done anything. Beyond frustrating. Also Best Buy during the holiday season. Like Black Friday at Best Buy.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah,
That
it
sucks.
sucks at Toys R Us too, man.
Yeah.
So the worst. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, comparatively, I don't have nearly as fun or funny in retrospect stories as the restaurant industry guys here have had.
Well, the restaurant industry is notorious for being
Shit
full
show.
of crazy stories and
Sure.
a shit show. Yeah.
Well, speaking of jobs going wrong,
Oh.
That's
Okay.
That's a good segue.
Whatever. That was set up from the beginning of this.
That's how you
It's
do
well
it.
Every
Clever.
artistry at work, sir. Okay.
It was such a good segue. I'll hold off telling you about my Hollister experience.
Speaking of jobs gone wrong, the crew of the Independence has recently fallen on some hard times. You were contracted to be bounty hunters. Now, I know that was a little bit of a moral quandary for the crew, but you all resolved to do it because shit, you gotta get paid somehow, man.
Right.
But
Well, at the time, we thought it was the right thing to do.
yeah. Well, it turns out that it wasn't, right? It turns out that this bioterrorist was in fact a freedom fighter, if you will, right? So, but you know, I mean, sometimes that's how it is, right? Well, your payment fell through. You all agreed to let Agavana Stoneblood go. The crew of the Wintermorn, no less, came and picked her up, and then you engaged in your first starship combat, supporting the Wintermorn's escape, and handled it. No problem, like swimmingly handled it. In fact, however, good performance in starship combat, I'm afraid, doesn't get you paid.
Nah.
Is there
So
any salvage we can get from those ships?
there are ship salvaging rules in the back of one of these books, but I don't know them off the top of my head, I'm afraid. So I can't help you there. I can't help you.
There's free money you could get, but I didn't read about
I
it, so you
can't be
can't have
bothered to
it.
get it to you.
Sorry about it.
You might have done better of just saying no.
No.
Well, I don't want to sell
now I know
the AP
we're
short. You
getting
know,
fucked, so.
anybody out there thinking about running fly for your die?
So I'll just take this one on the chin myself. You know?
yeah, it's fine.
Can't blame this one on Leo. He
No,
put the
Leo's
content
innocent
there,
on
yeah.
this one, guys. It's all on me. I'm the asshole.
Josh's face.
It's just the mustache, man. It accentuates
Well,
the.
yeah, the mustache really highlights the like pouty, like
It gives like a comical kind of like almost cartoonish like grump face.
Yeah. Well,
Wilfred Brimlin.
you got in. I would say you probably earned some respect from the crew of the Wintermorn in the process, right? You know, so you at least got that going for you.
At least we earned something.
Which is
Shit.
nice.
Yeah, which is nice. Yeah. So post that. Now we have to do a little bit of cleaning up, as it were. So I have a couple of questions. I imagine you'd want to send in a report to Tarika, your lovable Bruneri handler, back on Absalom Station, to let her know kind of how this whole thing went down, right? Am I?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
you gotta send back in, you know, your paperwork and everything. Now, my next question: do you want to let Captain Fireheart of Directive 9 know what happened, or are we just gonna ghost him?
I think we'll,
That's a ghost
play. I mean,
situation.
Situation.
we'll ask this in character.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So the job did not go well, and despite my best efforts, we did not get paid one red credit for any of our work.
We got any of the blue ones?
Not even a green rupee, my friend.
And it's just the sticks that are colored, not the
Yeah.
credits themselves. They're only valuable because we think they're valuable.
Well, that is indeed a problem that we'll have to address, the not getting paid bit. But I think a bigger problem to discuss right now is the fact that we have just acted against Directive 9 of the Vescarium, and I don't really relish the idea of leaving a voicemail, video message, however this thing works, with Captain Fireheart, telling him exactly what we did in letting our mark go free. What are your thoughts?
I think you're right on right there, because otherwise we're just admitting that we're criminals to the Vescarium, then that would sympathize us for what they deem as a terrorist. So,
Well, there is the bit that Captain Fireheart may not have actually known that to be the case, as that this was carried out by a Vesk organization even more under the radar than Directive 9.
Insidious.
Insidious is a great
there was
word.
the
Thank you,
adamant
STF.
scale, correct? Right?
That's right. Yes, that's what it was. So they may not know. Yes, Morgan. I'm sorry.
We could just always not tell them expressly what happened. We showed up and Agavana was already gone.
Now,
So-
simple. If we're going to lie about it, the simpler the better. We just didn't get her.
I don't think we should lie. We should just tell him what happened, and he seems an honorable sort.
So here's the problem with that, Tia, is that they're going to ask, well, who took them off planet? And then we're going to have to sell out to Wintermorn. I'm pretty sure we're all a little bit more chummy with them at this point, you know?
Well, on top of that, though, shit, I just completely lost my train of thought. I had something good.
I'm hesitant to involve ourselves in Veskarian politics. None of us are really versed in that, and it's hard for me to trust anyone these days, other than the four of you, of course.
Question, other than our Yelp review, what's the downside of just not saying anything?
Ghosting a powerful
We're
member
under
of
contract.
Veskarian military.
Just floating an idea, not saying we need to do it, just saying it's an
I mean,
option.
for one, the downside would be making him very angry.
Do you think that telling him that we let this person go would not make him angry?
I think there's more a chance that he could understand, given the information he probably doesn't know about what was actually going on with the situation.
Well, while he may understand, I don't know that in his mind it won't be. Who are we to be the ones to say that that's what, to make that call, make that judgment call about them and breach our contract with them?
Have
'Cause that's
we
what we
any
did.
proof? Have we any proof that Agavana was not in fact a terrorist, that she was a freedom fighter?
No, in fact, she would not give up any bit of her lab to us as payment.
So we have nothing other than our word
Right.
to inform this very powerful individual
And we don't have...
That we-
Sorry, go ahead.
that we let her go. That's my fear. I really don't want to go to jail or worse.
And also,
D9 scares me.
Fireheart is merely just a representative of Directive 9. It's bigger than just him, obviously, so he may not have a choice but to carry out whatever orders he's under, despite him maybe being sympathetic to our story.
Not to mention, though, is that we don't really have the backing of the Pact Worlds to
We
protect
have
ourselves.
the backing of no one.
We have the backing of no one, so...
I mean, Tarika has a back, but she doesn't really
Well,
count.
you did
count.
decide to name your ship the Independence.
Right.
Fair enough.
So,
Thank you, God.
We owe allegiance to no one.
So we only have ourselves to rely on. Yeah.
If the options are, we give it a shot, we tell Captain Fireheart what happened, hope that he at least sees our side of it, and maybe it won't be as bad, or we just absolutely ghost him, and then then we're on the run.
Well, no,
so
there's the
maybe
third
we
option.
avoid him, but
There was the
they'll
third
come
option.
after us.
There was the third option, and I believe the first one that was floated out, which is to just tell them that we were unable to find
We failed the contract.
Earthbreaker. Yeah, so we went to whatever planet we just came from, and we actually found the lab, but there was no sign of Earthbreaker there.
I don't even know if we need to go that far with the detail. Just
Give
a
them
simple,
something, right?
Well, I mean, sure, tell them where the thing is, but just a simple. We weren't able to complete the contract because that's truthful.
This is like that show you were watching the other day, Columbo, where we're actually smarter, but we make it seem as though we're incompetent.
Right.
Well, it's our first time doing a gig like this, so why I don't think they'd be surprised to see that we did
make a big
out.
fuss about why they even thought to hire us in the first place.
That's true. Yeah.
I can't help but think while we're sitting here chewing the fat on what to do here is it.
Well, you got fat you're chewing on. Give me some of that.
It's just a phrase.
Ration it out to the others, Vincent.
Well, that's
just like a little tub of lard that's just got
we will
tiny
table
bits
that for
still
now.
in it.
We're going to table that for now because
Frozen bacon grease.
you can save that. It's very versatile. So. But for real, this has me a little bit maybe concerned, maybe even paranoid. Though is that if we're speaking about a representative of D9 who approached us, who had more information on us, who's to say that they didn't bug our ship and already knew the path that we went? And I think
A good point. Then honesty is the best policy.
But we don't know that. No. And what I'm saying here is that perhaps, Gaddy, I know you've been watching some Columbo, and so perhaps you can actually go and, I don't know, do they have some sort of like bug detecting devices, anything that you can use to see if there's any kind of...
You skip right past your extremely talented engineer who is a bug.
I was going to say, that's outside of my wheelhouse.
You know what? Tell you, I owe you an apology, first off. And second off, you are a wonderful engineer. And
yes, I know.
Mantis is a wonderful drone. And would you please consider
sweep the ship looking for bugs?
Yes. Sweep the ship looking for listening devices. It feels a little weird calling them bugs when in your presence, but yes.
I mean, the more information that we have, I mean, now I wasn't as paranoid, and now I am. So absolutely, she's like already kind of like looking around, like where the bugs are.
I feel like, I mean, by all means, take a safety sweep if that's what we need to do, but I feel like we are merely distracting ourselves from the fact that if they have a bug, we would already have heard from them. They don't have time to play games with the likes of us. I am with Gadrick on this, that we tell them as little as possible, and if they ask follow-up questions, we simply remove the part of our true story of finding her at the lab. We can tell them everything else. We can tell them about the music shop, and we can tell them about the clam, and we can tell them about the temple. All of that. We just leave out the bit with the Winterborn and finding Oathbreaker. That is my thoughts.
I think that's our best bet, honestly. And if they have their bugs in place, as we are concerned, they already know what's happened, and we won't have to say anything because, well, they'll just apprehend us.
Right. I didn't mean to dismiss the idea of regularly checking our ship for any surveillance. I think that is a good idea and should maybe become standard protocol for the Independents. Every time that we leave our ship in the care of something else, right? So
noted.
I already check every 46 hours.
Oh, well, have you
Don't
found
even
any
go a
signs
full 48.
Have you found any signs of surveillance then?
We are 12 minutes away from scheduled security sweep time.
Well, please fill out the requisite forms to ask for an alteration of the time. Yes, I thank you. Morgan, if you'll file these. Well, we don't have file cabinets right now, but when we get them, yes, we'll have these proper... I'm sorry, I can't...
I've actually been building file cabinets in the off chance that we may need to sell them, for we are poor.
With the random
digitize
garbage the
all
goblins
these.
left.
With the trash, yeah. The last
Alright,
bag of trash
so I
that we
just-
didn't send off. Yeah.
I just want to figure out exactly. So we are going to draft an email to Captain Fireheart, or are we not?
Yes, we are.
What's our
And
means of communication? Is it going to be an email? Is it going to be?
email's
If
good.
we have an option, email. Yeah.
Yeah, send
I'll
an
let you guys
email.
go with the email. Okay, let's
Nice.
Send an
Stop.
email. All you should put in the email is that we just failed to apprehend the target.
Okay. Keep it
More
vague.
vague, the better.
Yeah.
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 Well, you use your own computer's ranks to send that email if we're lying.
Well,
All right.
Morgan,
Morgan's just tapping away like, all right, will do.
it's always best to
I'm not
sprinkle in
trying
some
to like
truths.
gum up the works, but like Tia does not like to tell fibs. I mean, that's just who she is.
Yeah. No, I get it. Lawful good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys do that. You know. So here's the deal. You can fly around a little bit on the advance that you got from Captain Fireheart.
Right.
However, and you've let Tarika know. I'm sure that she is diligently working to try to find you a lucrative job. However, it may be a few weeks before you hear from her. So, what we're looking at is the crew of the Independence flying around, trying to be as inconspicuous within Veskarium space as possible, as you have an ever dwindling reserve in the band fund here.
Yes,
So-
that's why we're selling scrapped file cabinets now.
Yeah.
I'll take every piece of scrap I can find
to
in a
take a
file
little
cabinet.
time. I want to take a look at what the crew of the Independence living the struggle might look like. So, kind of what's going on the ship for these few weeks.
I have a question before we get started on that.
Okay.
Why are we sticking around in the Veskarium? Because we have to?
Just to get caught.
Like,
No.
can we not be in the Veskarium, or is that...
What do you want to jump to drift
We
space?
don't have gas
You wanna-
money, bro.
Yeah,
right.
let's call it that. You don't have the gas money
we don't.
to jump
We don't.
out.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
So
That's
We're
But-
out
but
of
you can-
drift pellets, you know?
Pellets.
We need a nibbler.
The real answer is because the plot demands it. Okay,
Right,
so
okay.
Hard.
No, we're out of drift pellets, is what it.
yeah,
What it is.
we're out of drift pellets. Damn it!
I like it.
What I said the first time.
Look, I didn't argue the first time. You've been arguing yourself, bro.
We got to find an in-lore explanation for a plot contrivance.
Dude, out of gas. Works
Yeah, we're
for
out of
me.
gas. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
So talk to me, like, if you guys were broke, getting down to where toast sandwiches were about the best thing you come up with, like, what does that look like for the crew of the Independence?
Looks like we're making filing cabinets to sell.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like,
as
here's
much
the-
as I
here's
was
my
joking about
question.
that, I would be looking for, like, is there any kind of scrap we can, or anything we could take stuff on the ship and make it more valuable and maybe stop off somewhere and try to hawk some stuff?
So
You
know?
could probably sell Mantis for a decent amount of credits if you wanted to.
Ooh.
I
What
couldn't-
you're suggesting, Heath, is that we try and salvage something? Like
That'd be
the
great.
ships that we
That'd
fought
be
earlier?
very cool if we could just salvage some
Oh.
stuff and survive on that.
right.
Yeah,
It'd
for
be
some
awesome if
reason
that
we
was
just
written
can't.
into
We
the
just can't do
adventure.
that. It's just not
That'd be
going to work.
another in-world reason for us to stick around and spend some time salvaging these ships.
Sorry,
I
guys.
thought this out beforehand and you just didn't read it.
And I love that idea because I feel like Vincent would actually approach Hestia on that subject and talking about like how we're running low. Has done like an inventory on weapons. I imagine that we have our weapons in a weapon locker or something like that.
No, our magnetic
No, man, you don't
grab
keep that
boots,
bang
whatever.
on you, bruh.
The weapons lockers have been retooled to file cabinets.
That's what it is. That's what
Our
it is.
artisanal file cabinets we're going to sell
Artisanal
online.
fire cabinet.
No, we can't go salvaging ships because our magnetic little grab boots are out of grav juice.
yeah, I grab juice.
And so with that,
Shame
I
on
mean,
that grab juice, guys. Sorry.
I would imagine that like he would actually try to probably convince Tia to, instead of making probably what he would feel like are useless file cabinets, into like possibly trying to do ammunition.
It's only because your life is unorganized.
I mean, I'm just a wanderer, so what do you want? So I don't need a filing cabinet. But I don't know. Yeah, I think for Vincent, that's what he would. I mean, like, he's always been a fighter, so for him, his ammunition would be his main bet. He would see that ammunition is dwindling, and I mean, like, even like being the galley cook, as it were. First it was the spices, then side items, and then
to that point, I was actually, as Roland, going to talk to you as the cook.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, maybe like 2 days after we dealt with the temple and everything, Roland comes to you and is like, this is before we're even like a couple weeks into this. Roland goes to Vincent's like, Vincent, I would like you to join me in the galley if you have a couple hours.
And you see him kind of like looking over some paperwork on a clipboard and like his inventory and how it's scarcely. Yeah. I'll take a break from this. So
that's actually what I was going to ask you to do, is to do a full inventory with me of all of our rations and supplies.
Well, I haven't gotten to that yet, but
well, let's do it together.
Okay, yeah. So
Roland would, spend that time with Vincent, and we'd be going over what we have, which is very little, right? And
right.
And as we're counting, you can see Roland's countenance get more and more stressed, as he tends to do when he sees that things are going bad for his crew, and he gets very serious and says, Vincent, I don't know when the next job is going to come, and there's no guarantee that we'll get paid in actual credits. We'll probably just get more ship pods, and we can't eat ship pods. So we are going to have to ration this out at a rate that I feel the rest of the crew is not going to be happy with. And I'm talking about emergency portions.
So I'm looking at what we got, and our spices are down, and well, we're certainly on lean times. We don't have the side items like we be used to that we could accommodate, but just between you and me, I mean, with the culinary synthesizer, I've been using a bit of stashed UPBs just to keep the whole thing running. But the old girl, I don't know how much more juice she's going to be able to. But I don't know. Well, shit, I don't know the Viscarian system very well, but we need to see about seeing if we can trade for something more edible.
Gadrick, I don't think that you understand the severity of the situation. We have no money.
I'm
no
not
credits.
Gadrick.
What?
I'm sorry. Vincent. I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
I haven't eaten in 2 days.
It's gone crazy from lack of food.
I heard you say my name through the wall. What's up?
Nothing, Gadrick.
He's
I'm
in
sorry.
the walls. Be quiet. You can hear him scratching.
Yeah, Vincent.
All right, Vince, I'm looking forward to dinner tonight, man. I hope you got something good to cook up for us.
Like I
And a lot,
said,
too. I'm hungry.
we have what we have now, and we are not in the position to trade up for anything. We do not. We have just enough credits to get by, and so we are going to have to ration what we have, and you're going to have to make that old girl work just a little bit longer.
Well, I mean, we'll do what we can do. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you.
I appreciate that. And, well, the reason that I'm speaking with you is that I'm going to need your assistance in enforcing the ration rules. I can't be the only one. And I'm sorry that we have not made the money that we need to be successful crew. That is a failure as captain, but we will find something, I swear. But for now, I need your aid in this task.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like being put in that position, especially with the lack of. We're dwindling on creature comforts, and now we're dwindling on food. People are going to be a little bit more edgy, probably myself included. But I think we can. Yes, I can enforce this with you. I can enforce it.
Right. I will be the one to address to the crew what the situation is. I won't ask that of you. And I won't even specifically say that you're the god of the pantry, but I just need your help in keeping an eye on it to make sure that nobody dips in for extra snacks.
Well, for
myself
that,
included, I get very nosy when I get hungry.
Yeah, that was a terrible pun, but
I'm hungry.
I respect it. Well,
I'm hungry.
Well, in that case, probably need to lock up any of the ventilation shifts because we do have a wall crawler about.
Right. Yes, it's in the walls. The most distressing thing about all of this is that there's no tea on this ship. I was really looking forward to tea. We should have gotten tea with.
Tea's a luxury at this point.
Beep, beep, beep. Comm unit calling you, Captain.
Oh, yes, Morgan.
Captain! So I wanted... I know we've all been under a little bit of stress lately, and you know how we were talking to Agavana about, like, having some tea coming on? I wanted to invite you over to have some, have a cuppa. I've got a little bit of stash left over, and I just wanted to share that with you. I thought the tea was a lovely idea, maybe just, not the best time to utilize it, so...
How much do you have? Do you have enough for everyone, or is this just a me and you situation? And Vincent's looking right at me while I'm talking to you.
I actually hadn't checked. Hold on. And you hear kind of like a fuddling about and like a tin being opened. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I've only got just a little bit left. I thought I had a lot more than this. Well, that's a little upsetting. This is my favorite tea. We could all have a very, very, watery cup if we all, like it very bland. And, you can tell their voice is kind of dropping, oh no. This was their luxury item that they really thought was in their back pocket, and it's almost gone.
Mm-hmm. And it's just enough for me and you, really, to be
maybe.
All right, I'll be right there, Morgan.
Well, I mean, maybe. Never mind. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So is that a yes on the tea, or is that a no?
Yes, sure. Yes, absolutely. Sorry, Captain. Yes.
All right, give me 1 moment, and I will be in your cabin shortly.
All right.
Hey, look. I know you've been wanting your tea, and I'm more. I like bean water more than I like tea. I'm not a leaf lover, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right, but I was just saying to you that everybody is going to have to ration for all of us to have. I really want this tea, though. And Roland is having a real problem right now with his conscience, and I know that it's doesn't even. It's probably nobody else wants a half-brewed cup of tea anyway. But, Roland is just kind of looking to Vincent, pleadingly, without saying the thing that is being unsaid.
Well, go on. You don't have to make it so obvious.
Yes, right. I really should act like I have high ranks in deception and bluff more often, actually. But okay. Thank you, Vincent, and hopefully this is all for naught, and we get a job within the next week and a half.
Yeah, otherwise I'm going to have to bust some kneecaps.
Yeah, right. Knowing that we're going to be here for a couple weeks as a player. All right, so, and he'll go to Morgan's. I'll arrive at Morgan's cabin.
So when you get there, you smell like it is a very fragrant tea, like as you open the door. But Morgan is standing at their bed, and there are a bunch of scarves and various like pieces of jewelry and just kind of a bunch of different accessory items on the bed. And they're just kind of like fiddling with their lower lip, sort of looking very pondersome. Yes, I think I can get rid of this one. I can let that one go. Oh no, that one was a gift. Oh, Captain, hello. Come in. The tea's ready. It is still a bit weak. I did with it what I could. Please have a seat. How are things? And they're like obviously a little concerned. Like,
Roland is going to reach out his paw to Morgan's hand and take their hand in his paws and be like, Morgan, thank you. I appreciate this gesture. Sit. Let us enjoy this tea. I have some things to discuss with you.
Of course, Captain. They would sit and pour the tea.
Now, before we go any further, is there something troubling you outside of the tea, or?
I suppose it just recently really hit me. We're in a bit of dire straits here.
That is true. That is what I wanted to discuss with you, actually.
What are we going to do? We have to get a job. We have to make money. We can't just sit here. And like, you can tell, like, they get real upset for a hot second.
Yeah,
I don't
and again,
want this to be about money, but...
He squeezes your hand. Calm down. Now, you're supposed to be the one that keeps us calm. Let me do that for you right now. Vincent and I have just taken stock, and we have enough in reserves. If we ration it very carefully, for us to make it about another 2 weeks. Now, I trust that Tarika will find us a job in that time, but it is going to be a difficult 2 weeks. And this tea is likely to be the last creature comfort that we will enjoy for some time. Now, what we did back there was the right thing to do. But the right thing to do does not pay sometimes. And I hope that you understand that my habit of pushing for extra credits is simply because, as you see, our family needs it. It is not meant to come from a place of intimidation or nefarious reasons. And I hope that you, of all of the crew, knows that about me.
Of course, Captain, I know. I'm glad that you and Vincent have had a time to chat and get some things in order. I'll be honest with you. This scares me. I've been low on funds before, but based on who I used to be, it's harder for me to experience going without. It makes me think of darker times. And, but I have what's important now. I have you, I have my family, I have us, I have the independents. We have our independence. And we'll get through it together. We may be in the lean times, but that's all right. It's all right. And you see Saoirse kind of like pop up on their shoulder, and they
see
give
Roland
it.
lick his lips.
Nope, that's not acceptable. Not even funny. Not even a joke. Nope.
I'm just kidding.
I understand where you're coming from, Captain. And I know that you would never do anything out of greed, only out of trying to make sure your crew is taken care of. And we'll work together to make sure we're all taken care of. But for now, cheers.
Cheers. This is a lovely cup of tea.
Isn't it?
It tastes like the best cup of tea I've had today.
It's actually a gift from somebody when I was traveling and just...
And so then, we don't have to do the whole scene, but Roland will then gather the crew and kind of explain the situation to them. If any of you have responses, fine, but I'm not going to give a big speech.
I feel like the whole time that this is happening, Vincent's already got his, baton extended.
Vincent, take it down about 2 clicks.
It's like, shh, and just
puts
it back in.
Just goes down a couple clicks.
Yeah.
But he explains that, we're waiting for a job and we have to make what we have last, and it's not going to be pleasant. We're equivalent of eating 10 crackers a day type situation.
Rice and beans.
Hestia, after you tell us all that stuff, Hestia's like, I don't know how much it might help, but I had been trying to start collecting weapons to augment Mantis if the situation arises. So I do have an Inferno knife that we could sell for a couple 100 credits, and I've got a couple of pistols that are worth far less. If that would feed us for a day or two.
Absolutely. We will have to find a place to exchange these items, but every little bit counts, and I appreciate that, Hestia. That's...
Yeah. She walks up and presents you with the Inferno knife, kind of bows a little bit.
I vomit in your mouth.
I vomit in yours. And look, don't worry about me, Captain. I'm holding up fine. I'm fasting right now, anyways, for highlights. So.
Oh, you're all chitin. Not skin and bones. You're all
you
chitin.
think chitin doesn't need protein?
It's a good thing that Mantis doesn't eat, right?
It is a very good thing.
Yes.
Her appetite would be much higher than ours.
Yes.
Well, I don't know about all you guys, but I think I'm going to be okay as long as I got my movies.
What are you hiding in that cheek pouch of yours? Do you still have burgers in there?
I smell them.
There's burgers for days in there.
Well, I was going to save it until it got
Open your
really
mouth.
dire, but and
Vomit in
Gadrick,
our mouths.
Gadrick produces from a mouth or cheek pouch a cookie.
No.
That is just soggy.
You mean
and
a ball
gross.
of mush?
Yeah.
A ball of mush.
It used to be a cookie.
I was expecting an old spent sushi roll or something like
Oh,
that.
God.
Don't worry, Gadrick. You've earned that cookie. That is your cookie.
That's all you, bro. Don't
It's
say,
all
man.
you.
I don't
We
know
would
if you
not
guys
begrudge
think.
you that cookie.
That is for your excellent piloting.
Yeah, you got dibs on this. So,
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll put that right back there. For later.
Yes, you do that.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and check that off the inventory.
But I got this. I think they might be expired. They've been in there for, well, honestly, I don't know how long. And he produces
cheek pouches?
he produces a sizable can of beans,
Oh yeah.
in which the label is like sort of like sun bleached, just
Yeah.
washed
Oh,
out because
God,
the
no.
inks and dyes have faded over time.
been
because-
I feel like it lost a
Doesn't tell me
label,
how-
so it's like mystery. You don't know what kind of beans it is.
Now that we will take. It's still sealed, right?
I think so.
Well,
Oh,
Should
God.
be.
hand it over.
Blech.
It's all soggy, like a whole spit trail.
You guys, you dig in. I'm fasting.
So Roland will take it
You
over
need
to
your
the sink
protein there,
and
do you?
wash it off, and then hand it to Vincent. And, we'll add this to the inventory, to the pantry.
Beans and toast ain't
One
bad.
can of mystery beans.
Yes. Thank you, Godric.
Yep. Well, like I said, as long as I got my movies, I'll be all right.
Columbo.
And Columbo.
So, is there any surveillance devices around here? It's been
Yeah,
past 12
did I
minutes.
find any surveillance?
I'll let you take 20 on that.
Yeah,
No,
I
you did
mean,
not.
I've
You
had
did not
plenty
find
of
any-
time.
Yeah, you did not find any surveillance devices. Your
All right.
ship appears to be bug-free, minus Tia and
Yeah.
technically Mantis. I guess you could.
There were a couple of roaches. Not weldy roaches, like actual roaches.
I was wondering, player versus character knowledge there.
As far as the rest of the 2 weeks, I know other people got some stuff, but I'll just say generally what Roland is doing is either meditating, training, or doing a walkthrough of the ship, just checking in on the staff from time to time. That's kind of
Trying
his
not to think about how
Right.
hungry your belly
Correct.
is getting.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vincent would be like he would be drawing, just kind of like passing time, trying not to think about food. And then he gets down to the nub with his pencil, to the point that it's just like he's run out of pencils.
Man, we
Oh,
really
God,
need
no.
the Cowboy Bebop.
I can craft
going on
you.
here?
I can craft you a mechanical pencil.
Just use your blood.
Yeah,
So
just stab yourself and write everything in that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I think, in all seriousness,
I
I
think it's
think
getting dark.
Hestia, both probably out of a misguided sense of like, hey, I don't want to take up the rations, but also religious fervor really does try to like go a couple days of just like I am fasting and like spends more time in her workshop / quarters, really trying to reach out to Hylax. And, for such a religious character, like, where else are you going to turn for help? So really trying to kind of deepen her bond with Hylax, maybe even ask forgiveness for some of the, not sins, but like mistakes we may have made along the way. Especially she feels guilty about when we took the last job. Hestia was very adamant about like, this is the right thing to do, when we were under the impression that we were going after a terrorist. And, urged the captain to like, be into doing this because it might feel bad, but it is probably the right thing to do. And then we immediately find out it was not, and then urges him to let her go because it's the right thing to do. So Hestia's feeling a little bit of guilt about presuming she knows what is the morally right thing to do, Maybe I should like weigh these things a little bit more and not just, try to control the moral imperative here. But other than the time, not eating and she would be tinkering. I mean, I don't know what is and is not on the ship. It seems pretty sparse. So like she would be scouring the ship for anything that she could turn into something of value. Like she'd be pretty great at crafting, but it's like we've probably used up everything. And probably gets frustrated by her inability to create more file cabinets or anything, lucrative like that. And so other than prayer, kind of turns her attention towards trying to just like cheer up the rest of the crew in small ways, watching a movie with Gadrick, maybe not doing gun practice, but like throwing tactical knives with John. What is your fucking character's name? With Vincent. Yeah, sorry. And just like trying to check in on everybody and just like not to. I feel like it's not the kind of thing where it's like like doting on you, like a mommying you, like how are we doing? Is everybody dealing with their hunger well? But like trying to be subtle and sincere in doing just little things that she can to not only cheer people up, but show how much they mean to her,
Mm-hmm. And help distract them.
And distract them. Like figuring out like what, what their interests are and trying to lean into like what's something I could do with them for an hour to forget about this,
Well,
we need to get food because
Tia, I
STF's
will
just
say
too good for this
that
place.
your asceticism and dedication to Hylax through fasting certainly keeps your belly from getting hungry a little longer than the rest of the crew, but eventually that hunger does set in. And one day you do get a hit. You get a DM from someone interested in your filing cabinets.
Oh, cool.
So you engage, but here's the deal. They keep on trying to haggle you down, and Tia, you're just getting increasingly desperate, and so you're just like, finally relent, and then they ask, well, can you come drop it off to me?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
My God.
It's Facebook Marketplace is
yeah,
what
it's a
this
Facebook
is.
Marketplace exchange.
Facebook, excuse me.
The Facebook. And the whole thing just ends up frustrating you to no end, and you finally just say fuck it and don't accept the measly credits that they're offering you for your
She
artisanal
doesn't
filing
actually
cabinet.
say fuck it. She
Yeah,
says,
but I mean,
oh,
you
poo,"
know.
or something, you know.
Boo.
No, boo.
Poo.
Yeah, so well, what else, guys, before y'all got anything else interesting?
I think Josh wanted to do something.
Yeah, at some point, I don't know, a couple days after that meeting, after enjoying watching a number of movies, probably Lethal Weapon with Hestia.
Yeah, I feel like over the course of a few days, she keeps watching things with you, and you're like, "We're gonna watch Lethal Weapon," and then she's
Yeah.
like, "But we could keep watching Columbo." She's really gotten into Columbo.
So start to watch that, and then like opening credits, and then it skips like halfway through.
Ooh.
I'm like, well, hang on, that's not the beginning of the movie. Let me get that back real quick, and goes back to the beginning, and it skips to a different spot. And they talk for a second. The voices are in the wrong places. The audio track's messed up. Like everything is, like his holovid player's on the fritz.
Oh God, I had a very similar experience in real life a few weeks ago trying to watch Mission Impossible on one of the shittier streaming services, and it would get 7 minutes in and go back to the beginning.
Oh my God.
And I'd get 5 minutes further every time, and it'd go back to the beginning. After I got about 30 minutes into the movie, I was like, I'm not enjoying
Not
this.
worth it.
Yeah.
So after a little bit of percussive maintenance with his fist, it's just not working. And the one thing that Gadrick had to keep him from despair is not working. And Tia, can you fix this for me? I mean, it's all I got.
This ancient technology? What do you
Yeah.
call this? A Divida player?
Yeah, that's what it says on the front. Divida.
I'll see what I
It's a
can do.
relic from Old Galarian.
Pre-gap technology here.
Tia, you can try to engineer it back into
Okay.
working if you want.
I think I probably do. With a 17 on the die.
Oh, what does that end up with?
A lot.
Okay.
Let's see. I had to find it. Engineering is a plus 14.
Okay.
Yep.
31.
So,
Okay,
31,
so
yeah.
31. Yeah, I mean, you, this is not exactly your area of expertise, but your engineering mind can certainly, after spending some time with this, wrap your head around how this relic operates.
I just like clean some dust off the laser, but then that DVD still won't work. And after hours of going back to it and messing with it, finally has the insight to put some toothpaste on the DVD.
Yeah. Well, you do get it working. Yeah, but it's in a different language.
It only plays it with the commentary track on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. You all
It's in Abyssal.
spend a couple of weeks increasingly just down to crumbs. You know, your energy levels are super low. You're all exhausted, just, you know, miserable. You're all sitting around the bridge, maybe watching the DVD idle screen bounce from corner to corner, getting excited when it lands, like actually in
God.
a corner, you know?
Now I really am imagining the Cowboy Bebop thing, like Ed, like laying upside down off the couch, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely, this feels like certainly a low point for the crew. However, after a few weeks, out of nowhere, you get a ping on the ship's comm unit.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, filing cabinet.
Hello?
File cabinets.
Yeah,
You open up.
Roland's like sitting in this captain's chair, just like panting, like because he's so thirsty and hungry.
Yeah, I'm sure you like scramble.
He's like, yeah, hello. This is the Independence. Who am I speaking with?
Well, it's a pre-recorded message.
God
Shit.
damn it!
So he doesn't know.
Pre-recorded message. However, when you pop up the holovid, you do see the friendly and familiar face of your handler, Tarika. And she appears on screen, and she's got a wide smile on her face, and she's, "Oh, my little den of kittens. Listen, I know the last job didn't turn out too well. I feel sorry for you folks, but honestly, I'm kind of glad y'all didn't become tough as nails bounty hunters under my, I think I'd miss a sweet cinnamon rolls that you all are."
I would hunt anyone in the galaxy right now.
She's obviously doesn't hear that, but certainly
I say that to my crew members.
To your crew, yeah. But listen,
She can't hear you right now.
everybody's
never
like
been
pissed.
prouder.
Everybody's like a little on edge. Yeah. But I hope that your ears perk up when she says, "Listen, I have good news. While y'all are flying around in the Veskarium, an old friend of mine called up looking for a hand. Her name's Yatraxo Resman, and she's a storm runner. She flies her ship, Wild Magic, through the gas of Vesk 5 to catch star metals that get ejected out of the planet's core. Easy enough, right?
I can do that. I can definitely do that.
Shit.
Now, here's the rub.
Catch him in your cheek buckets.
Storm running's just a teensy tiny bit illegal.
Oh, I don't know if
However,
I want to do that, though.
I figure y'all might be hungry enough to take this one on. So, let's get out and get us a paycheck. What do y'all say? Old Trax needs just a ship to transport her haul from Vesk 5 to a bazaar in the Marixa Republic, far beyond the reach of the Veskarium, who I have no doubt are not on the best of terms with y'all right now. So, I told her that I think y'all'd be perfect. So, I'll send you the coordinates to Quariskt, a Formian colony on Vesk 5 that Trax works out of. So, she'll meet you there. If y'all are interested, head that way. All right, much love. We'll see ya.
A good old fashioned
Gadrick.
Tarika, we'll see you.
This is my favorite.
Scrambles to the controls and off we go.
Yeah.
Hestia gets very quiet.
Yeah.